The magic tea kettle. There was once a priest who was very fond of drinking tea. He always made the tea himself and was very fussy about the utensils he used. One day, in an old second-hand shop, he discovered a beautiful iron kettle used for boiling water when making tea. It was a very old and rusty kettle, but he could see its beauty beneath the rust. So he bought it and took it back to his temple. He polished the kettle until all the rust was gone, and then he called his 3 young pupils who lived in the temple. "Just look what a fine kettle I bought today," he said to them. "Now I will boil some water in it and make us all some delicious tea." So he put the kettle over a charcoal fire in a brazier, and they all sat around waiting for the water to boil. The kettle started getting hotter and hotter, and suddenly a very strange thing happened. The kettle grew the head of a badger and the bushy badger tail and 4 little badger feet. "Ouch! It's hot," cried the kettle. "I am burning! I am burning!" And with those words, the kettle jumped off the fire and began running around the room on its little badger feet. The old priest was very surprised, but he did not want to lose his kettle. "Quick, quick," he said to his pupils. "Don't let it get away. Catch it." One boy grabbed up a broom, another a pair of fire tongs, and the third a dipper, and away the 3 of them went, chasing after the kettle. When they finally caught it, the badger head and the bushy badger tail and the 4 little badger feet disappeared, and it was just an ordinary kettle again. "This is most strange," said the priest. "It must be a bewitched tea kettle. Now we don't want anything like that around the temple. We must get rid of it." Just then, a junk man came by the temple, so the priest took the kettle out to him and said, "Here is an old iron kettle. I will sell you very cheaply, Mr. Junkman. Just give me whatever you think it's worth." The junk man weighed the kettle on his hand scales, and then he bought it from the priest for a very small price. He went home whistling, pleased at having found such a bargain. That night, the junk man went to sleep, and the whole house was very quiet. Suddenly, a voice called, "Mr. Junkman! Oh, Mr. Junkman!" The junk man opened his eyes. "Who is that calling me?" he said, lighting a candle. And there he saw the kettle, standing by his pillow with the badger head and the bushy badger tail and the 4 little badger feet. The junk man was very surprised and said, "Aren't you the kettle I bought from the priest today?" "Yes, that's me," said the kettle, "but I am not an ordinary kettle. I am really a badger in disguise, and my name is Bunbuku, which means good luck. That mean old priest put me over a fire and burned me, so I ran away from him. But if you will treat me kindly and feed me well and never put me over a fire, I will stay with you and help you make your fortune." "Why, this is very strange," said the junk man. "How can you help me make my fortune?" "Well, I can do all sorts of wonderful tricks," said the kettle, waving his bushy badger tail. "So all you have to do is put me in a show and sell tickets to the people who want to see me do my tricks." The junk man thought this was a splendid idea indeed. The very next day, he built a little theater out in his yard and put up a big sign which said, "Bunbuku, the magic tea kettle of good luck, and his extraordinary tricks." Every day, more and more people came to see Bunbuku. The junk man would sell tickets out front, and then when the theater was full, he would go inside and start beating a drum. Bunbuku would come out, dance, and do all sorts of acrobatics. But the trick that pleased people most of all was when Bunbuku would walk across a tightrope, carrying a paper parasol in one hand and a fan in the other. The people thought this was most wonderful. They would cheer and cheer for Bunbuku, and after every show, the junk man would give Bunbuku some delicious rice cakes to eat. The junk man sold so many tickets that he finally became extremely rich. One day, he said to Bunbuku, "You must get very tired doing all these tricks every day. I now have all the money I need. So why don't I take you back to the temple where you can live very quietly?" "Well," said Bunbuku, "I am getting a little tired, and I would like to live quietly in a temple, but that old priest might put me on that fire again, and he might never give me delicious rice cakes. Just leave everything to me," said the junk man. So the next morning, the junk man took Bunbuku, a large amount of money, and some of Bunbuku's favorite rice cakes to the temple. When they got to the temple, the junk man explained to the priest everything that had happened, and he gave all the money to the priest for the temple. Then he said, "So will you please let Bunbuku live here quietly forever, always feeding him rice cakes like these I have brought, and never putting him over the fire?" "Indeed I will," said the priest. "He shall have the honored place in the temple's treasure house. It's really a magic kettle of good luck, and I would never have put it over the fire if only I had known." So the priest called his pupils. They put the kettle on a wooden stand and the rice cakes on another stand. Then, with the priest carrying one stand and the junk man carrying the other, and the 3 pupils following after, they carried Bunbuku carefully to the treasure house and put the rice cakes beside him. It is said that Bunbuku is still there in the treasure house of the temple today, where he is very happy. They still give him delicious rice cakes to eat every day, and never, never put him over a fire. He is peaceful, he is happy. Thanks for listening. See you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye and take care.